Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm glad you joined us today to our session. My name is Rosanna Rodriguez. I'm with Nestlé, and I've been with Nestlé for a little bit of time, about over 30 years. Worked on a lot of, started my career in HR and did the modernization in HR systems and transitioned to analytics and been working in analytics for the last about 12, 13 years. So I'm happy to come and share with you guys our cloud journey of what we've been going through. Before, I want to introduce my partner in crime, Manas. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Manas Bhuiyan. I'm an AI and data practitioner in Deloitte. Been in the industry in data and analytics space for more than a decade. And with Rosanna at Nestlé, I have been working with her at Nestlé for last 6, 7, 8 years. We started this data platform journey in 2018. Yeah, that's the short introduction about me.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to talk about our cloud journey. So when we talk about our cloud journey, how many of you guys started the cloud journey in 2015? Let me see your hands. Nobody? 2016? Okay, I got some with me here. 2020? Okay. 23? Okay. Well, we got a couple of here. So Nestlé started looking at the cloud journey back in 2016, around that time. Everyone was talking about it. We're like, okay, we need to get into this journey and see where we move from on-prem to the cloud. So as we started our strategy of what we would do with analytics. Actually, Nestlé has been very high users of SAP. So we had our SAP BW systems and doing descriptive reporting for many years before we started on the cloud. And then we said, hey, we are going to start our strategy and our journey more into advanced analytics. We have a lot of descriptive. We have silos of analytics and data science through certain functions, but not across the board. So we want a platform and a foundation that we all work in the same environment and we can provide really good tools for everyone. And that's when we started that journey in the sandbox. We actually started with Azure and all the solutions and components in Azure. And we also had our ML with Databricks. So that's how we started. So we started with a small use case, right?
Yeah.
Manas, and then from that use case, we grew our foundation. We started with sales, and then we actually went through, what were the steps that we went through?
Initially, when we started the journey, that time it used to be like one sandbox, we can say, and over the years, we brought in like more and more use cases, more and more data sets. It became like bigger and broader, and like it went through the journey like managed data lake, then we scaled it out, self-healing capability we added, then finally, nowadays, like today, this data platform is really agentic, GenAI supported, very advanced platform. And if I try to throw some stats, when we started that time, probably it was like very small, tiny, some 10, 15 tables, but over the years, it has grown like petabyte scale data, probably 1.5 petabyte scale of data, 3,000 or 4,000 data pipelines are hydrating the data lake. All variety of data sets that you can think of, internal, external, all of your like systems. And the data it's getting fed, batch, mini batch, micro batch, real time, whatever you can think of. And the bottom line is when you bring like so much data and then you bring the applications, that time you need to open up the data platform to lots of users. And that's where we have more than 3,000 end users.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk anything about the persona.
Yeah, and so when you come up to users, you have different personas, right? And then your environment. So we have what we call our report writers. We have what we call our advanced report writers that are defining KPIs. We have our data engineers, our data scientists, and now we have our GenAI engineers as well. So the platform has been growing and maturing and evolving with time. And as we matured, we try to integrate it, right? We try to create accelerators and automation, DevOps, DevSecOps, CI/CD, and all through that process maturing this landscape. But then, as we mature any landscape, any platform, we run into challenges. Manas, can you share with us what are some of those challenges that we have encountered?
Thank you, Rosanna. So Edge, on the last slide we saw like most, you can name any Azure service, it's there on the Nestlé data platform. But when you grow very bigger, so Edge with any platform, when you open up to the end users, like thousands of end users, you see the first challenge in, if anyone has used Azure, you'll see how do you control your access. It's the file-based, folder-based, application-based, row level, security level access at a report level. So managing so many persona, so many users, like 3,000 plus users, it was like really cumbersome. And on that, so that's the like access control was like really problem for us. Then the next one is sparse data cataloging. Data for the sake of data on a platform doesn't make any sense unless your data is findable, searchable, and you are able to generate insights out of that. And if you don't have like nice data catalog, which gives you like complete visibility, linearity, and you are able to trace your start to end, end-to-end journey of a data set on a platform, you don't get much out of that data. And that's where, even though we had a catalog from the Azure stack, but that was incomplete. So that's where we had that issue, like catalog was not well defined, which would spread across all the platforms. And even though it's an Azure-centered platform, then we have Databricks as well as Snowflake. So this multi-platform was another issue or challenge. Then the third one, Rosanna, would you like to take like self-serve?
So self-serve. Yeah. So, you know, in the BW days and SAP, which we're still in those days, we gave our users a lot of self-service. They would come in and create their own reports and using business objects. And so in the new platform, we needed to make sure that they continue with that self-service and they can actually create their own reports and from a democratized data set in order not to create dashboards for the users, but actually give them the support that they would actually create their own reports. So self-service was actually a challenge, and we needed to make sure that this platform had this self-service still.
And to top that, when November that ChatGPT come, everybody got inspired by like ChatGPT gonna change our world upside down. So we started getting pressure from the top, like from the C-suite level, that we need to bring like GenAI centered tools and tech into the platform. And Nestlé has like lots of standards. You cannot bring any tools or tech stack onto the platform. So you need to be really vet it out in different zones, and then you bring it to the platform. And then we had like a couple of very strong GenAI use cases, and we wanted to bring those, do that use case in POC and then industrialize. So that's where the GenAI centric capability was lacking in the platform. And the last one, as I told you, the scale and size of the platform, in any platform of that scale and size, you always have challenges with regards to query performance, your like throttling of the query. So that's where we didn't have that endpoint self-serve capability, which was a problem for us on Azure Stack. So that's all about our key problems.
Those are high-level problems, but we actually solve those problems by actually, with the solution using, as we talked about, when we had the issue with the cataloging and understanding the data, we used Purview in Azure in order to understand the data management. But for machine learning, we were already using Databricks, as I mentioned. We didn't really have a way to catalog it or see what the notebooks were or understand the data lineage that we were using for those notebooks. So actually using Unity Catalog gave us that foundation. So we had the view and understanding, the governance, the auditing. Then with that, those GenAI use cases that we were talking about and having a platform that is flexible enough to be able to adapt, we needed a Victor DB. And that was actually implemented at the same time, so we can get the VictorDB, basically embed the data, chunk the data, make it available, and we used a serverless portion of it. The serverless really gave us the opportunity for those prompts that were coming from the language models to search the data and actually get results quickly from what the use case that we were trying to use. So through that, then we go into the Unity Bridge, which is more of the accelerator. So what did we do there, Manas?
Yeah, Unity Bridge, this is more around while we were trying to implement the Unity catalog. Unity catalog, if you are trying to implement on a greenfield, that means you are building the new platform, and from the day one you have Unity catalog. It's very easy. You link your data pipelines to Unity catalog. But here at Nestle, they had like 3,000 data pipelines. So if you want to do a like brownfield centered Unity catalog implementation, you can figure out like 3,000 data pipelines. When you link it to the Unity catalog, it would like take 6 months. And Nestle has like innovative culture. You need to always try to do something around automation. So when we figured out that Unity catalog implementation would take 6 months, that's where we brainstormed with Databricks and then tried to come up with this tool. It's Unity Bridge. Primarily what it does, it's a Python-based code base. And it automates most of it, like 70% of your like manual tasks, which you need to do when you are linking your object and everything to Unity catalog, it automates it. So in a sense, the work that would have been done in 6 months, we finished it in probably 10 or 12 weeks.
10, yeah.
In 12 weeks, we implemented that Unity catalog. So that entire automation, reducing the timeline, everything goes to this Unity Bridge. And that Unity Bridge, we created like a couple of like crawlers. As I was telling you, here not only we have Azure or Databricks, but we have Snowflake as well. Some data sets are Snowflake. So that crawler functionality brings the data object or metadata from Snowflake and then puts it on the Unity catalog.
Very good. Well, you can't do all that without having partners, right?
Yeah.
So the collaboration between the partners were very important. You know, Nestle also always tries to innovate. Nestle's tried to adapt quickly to new technologies. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to go fast and fall fast to get up and do something that really brings a benefit. But those partnerships are important. So we partnered with Deloitte, and we've been partnering for a long time. And we also partner with Databricks. So whenever we had those challenges, we were able to work through it together and collaborate and quickly fix them. And to do an implementation so quickly, you actually need a partner in order to be able to go faster. And you also need to make sure that you have the right partners too.
Yeah.
So with that, what were the benefits that we actually achieved?
Yeah.
So looking at our benefits, so 80% of decreased costs. Why? Because in sustain and support, now that we have Unity Catalog, we're able to see the data. And so if I'm trying to create a model, I know what I see in front of me, and it's easier, right? So 80% of that cost of trying to run SQLs and so forth is out of the question now. We also have one centralized place, searchable repository, that I can do my discovery and I can actually see what I have. And 10,000 hours is actually saved annually because now I have my workflows and I can see what those workflows are improving. And 20% of productive gains are gained by our use cases now on GenAI. We're starting to see that revenue, and we're starting to see also how we actually become more efficient by producing those productivity gains.
I'm not able to hear you, so
Yeah.
you finished.
I finished.
Okay, thank you.
They can hear us though.
Okay.
Okay, when we go to our lessons learned, really, if you're doing a project, you always need to make sure that you start with what is your clear vision? What is going to be your outcome? What is going to be, you know, the solution, the benefit that you're going to bring? You also have to invest in governance, especially when you're scaling it up. When you scale it, you need to make sure that your governance is in place, that you have your data stewards, that you know who owns the data, and you understand what that governance is. You also have to make sure that you embrace automation, because without automation and accelerators, it becomes a little slow, and you want to go as fast as possible for you to gain your benefits and your return on investment. Foster collaboration between partners, but also foster your collaboration within your organization, making sure that you have your stakeholders aligned with you from the start, making sure that you're doing, if it's cross-functional or whatever it is, collaborate at the beginning and making sure that you're bringing everyone with you through that solution that you're implementing. And you know, in today's day, sticking to one solution is not going to solve all your problems. You actually have to be flexible and adaptive, because new solutions, like Manas is explaining, we have, you know, Snowflake, we have Azure components of SQL, and we have Databricks. So it gets pretty muddy in that environment, and you're always going to have more. And tomorrow we'll have something else. So we really need to be flexible and adaptive. Anything else to add, Manas?
No, I think we are good with lessons learned, and we are just like on time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions, you can come and see us.
And thank you very much for attending.
Yes.